Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, all of my beautiful friends from the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is doing amazingly well on this beautiful Tuesday or whenever you happen to be listening to this episode, whether that be morning, evening, or night. Welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Remember, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, leave us a rating, and also please leave us a review. You can find us also on YouTube, so remember, please like, comment, and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. You can also reply to this week's question. I know, so insane. And I will read that response out aloud on the next week's following episode, and you can do this in Spotify. So if you go to Spotify and you click the description of the episode, there should be a white icon there that says reply. You can reply to the whatever week's episode you want, and I will read that response out loud on the show, and you will be notified when your response is published. So, with that said, why don't we go ahead and read some responses from last week? So, last week's episode was, why did the kid at your school get expelled? And I did this with my buddy Sam. We got a lot of positive feedback about having Sam on the show, and I love Sam, and Sam is such a funny guy. So, I thought it went really well, and I was really happy with how that episode turned out. And thank you. Shout out to Sam. Love you, Sam. All right, why don't we go ahead and read some responses? So Phil Savannah, what's going on, Phil? Says, kid pants the gym coach. The gym coach was free balling. Oh my God. My best pal also worked at a gun club and forgot he had a rifle in his car, and he got so lucky that the random drug dog couldn't smell gunpowder. Oh my God. Well, the rifle in your car is definitely a red flag. That is going to raise, if that was found out, that was going to raise a couple red flags there. But man, I wonder if you would get expelled for that, because I mean, like, you know, if you have your license or something like that, you know, you work at a gun club, I feel like you can get your way out of that. I don't know if that would have expelled you, but it's definitely not something you want to forget. Out of all the things you could forget in your car, you know, whether that's your binder, your gym bag, you know, whatever it is, I think rifle is probably at the top of the list of things you shouldn't forget in your car. And why was the gym coach freeballing it? Why? That is, like, I feel like that's got to be, this gym coach something needed to be looked at, okay? You can't just freeball it. Not when you're working at a high school. That's college. Yeah, that's inappropriate. High school, that's illegal. Next one comes from Stressed Human. What is going on, Stressed Human? Ha ha ha. I've been homeschooled my whole life, so I don't have an answer. Great episode. Thanks for always giving me a laugh. Welcome back, Sam. I hope to see you again in the future. Sam will be back. Trust me, he will be back again in the future. We talked about it. So don't worry, Sam will be back in due time. Next comment comes from Dog. I'm homeschooled for my whole life, but good episode. Everyone's homeschooled. What is this? Like, I feel like when my parents are growing up, like, no one was ever homeschooled. And homeschooled, I feel like, is only a thing in, like, when I was a kid. Like, there were kids in my town who I didn't even know grew up in my town, like, my whole life. And they were homeschooled. That's why we never saw them. And then they, like, went to high school. I mean, I didn't go to high school in my hometown, but they did, and they knew people that I knew, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? And they were like, they're literally homeschooled their whole life here, and we had no idea who they are. So I was like, all right. But thanks for the positive comment. Next one comes from McMuffin. What's going on, McMuffin? So this kid came into class on his first day and told the teacher he won't be listening to anything the teacher said, and then he went up to the other kid's house's Ring camera and threatened to jump him. This is like that, oh my God, that video where the kid goes up to the teacher and he's like, I am the alpha, okay? And the alpha is saying, I am not paying attention. And the teacher is like, well, I'm the teacher, and the teacher is telling the alpha to sit down. He's like, the alpha does not listen to the teacher. The alpha will not sit down. And he's like, okay, well, the teacher is going to have to tell the alpha to leave class and go to the principal's office. The alpha does not go to the principal's office. Such a funny video. Like, look that up. Like, alpha doesn't, like, teacher tells alpha to sit down or something like that on YouTube. So funny. Next one comes from Toby. What's up, Toby? Bro made 2 people kiss. That's it. My school is strict AF. Yeah, that's going a little overboard. That's definitely going a little overboard. I mean, we had a that does sound like a strict school, man. You must go to like a religious school, because I went to a secular school, and we had like an outdoor ed trip, and there was like a girl in my class, like she was dating a guy who was also in the class, and they, for a little bit, they were like, it was daytime, but they were kind of in the sleeping bag with each other, and our teacher was just like, no, and then shut it down, and it was like nothing ever happened. It was, shit. People, there was some wild stuff that went on in my school. That's not wild at all. Like, that's super tame, but it's not like anyone got expelled for that, Like, there was literally, on that trip, there was literally a fight. And no one got expelled, and then no one ever even heard of it outside of the trip. It was crazy. And there was also racism. On that trip, and that person also didn't get expelled or suspended or anything. Never really left that trip, and you know what? Kind of shouldn't have. Should have said something. All right, next one comes from Alex D. Yo, what's up, Alex? Just wanted to say I love the show, and you should bring on Sam more often. I would love to bring on Sam more often. I love Sam. You guys, please check out that last episode. It was great. It was funny, and Sam is a funny guy. Sam is a great guy. So I will bring on Sam more often. Next one comes from idb.caleb. The usual in South Florida. Weed, drugs, bomb, school shooting threats. My county got super strict about that stuff because the Parkland shooting was in 2017. I do remember that Parkland shooting. I was in high school. I was in the 10th grade when that happened, and I was like, holy shit. America has some problems. This is an issue. This is not... Isn't that same kid, though, the kid on... What Pretending to Be Crazy Looks Like, the JSC Psychology? I'm pretty sure it's that kid. It's that kid. That's a very interesting video. Go, if you guys haven't seen JSC Psychology, please go watch their videos. They're just so great, and they do really great interrogation breakdowns. I'm pretty sure that kid who did that was on that was featured on that show on YouTube. But yeah, just the usual, weed. That's easy. Weed is, I think kids found weed at my school. No one really ever got expelled for weed at my school. It wasn't really a big thing. Like literally, here's a funny story. When I was like, so at the beginning of, I don't do this anymore, but when the grade 9s start high school, because our high school in Canada goes 9 to 12, or at least in my part of Canada, in Western Canada, you start high school grade 9, you end at grade 12. Very like, it's kind of like just like a lot of America. You start in grade 9. Some high schools are weird, but starting grade 9, it goes to grade 12. So grade 9, all the grade 9s, you could participate in going to this place called Dallas Valley, which is like in Saskatchewan, and it's like, it's a campsite, campground, whatever, camp type thing. And the grade 10s will be along as leaders to take the grade 9s. So I volunteered in grade 10, or I was like asked to be a leader. So I was a leader. And 2 of the kids who came in my group were smoking weed, and they found like cans of Twisted Tea and stuff outside of like, these kids are 14, outside of one of the camp trailers. And those kids didn't even get expelled. They just got like suspended. Like, it was like, drugs and bombing and shooting school threats definitely sounds like something you should get expelled for. Next one comes from Vortex. What's going on, Vortex? A guy in my class who always goes and gets those little things of milk they got provided by the school, like juice box but with milk. He once brought 42 of them to class. The teachers were not happy, and he got expelled for that, for bringing milk. I remember the milk was a big clout thing back in the day. If you got milk, you had clout. Especially if you got the chocolate milk. Damn. If you got chocolate milk, bro, you were the coolest kid in class, bro. You're like, My parents will let me drink chocolate milk in front of all you fuckers. I remember that. Next one comes from Cheese. What's going on, Cheese? I'd love to see these new commenters. Thank you all so much for commenting. He's been flipping off the cameras and he chased and tried to stab multiple people. Yeah, I think that's grounds for expulsion. That sounds very legitimate. You know, the milk thing doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot of justification for getting expelled for stealing milk. But, you know, chasing people around, threatening to stab them, I think that's, to me in my brain, that gives it a little bit, you know, there's a couple levels there in between those two things, right? I think that the knife stabbing definitely sounds a lot more harmful than stealing milk, you know? Anyways, why don't we hop into today's episode? So again, from our favorite Askreddit, from our favorite subreddit, Askreddit, comes the question: what's something that happened on a first date that made you decide against a second date? Now, this is complicated. Maybe not so much for some people, but you know, it's definitely happened to me where I'm on a date and I'm just not feeling it. Relationships are complicated, man, and attraction is a really complicated thing. So sometimes the vibes just have to be right. And I'm not gonna lie, like I've been ghosted, I guess you could say. But that's the thing, is I don't blame anyone for not feeling the vibes, because, you know, it's like I don't want to be with someone who doesn't feel the vibe either. So that's kind of how it is. But I think what we're about to read is people who the vibe, you know, was pretty obvious that they didn't want to, you know, continue on with the relationship. But anyways, why don't we hop in? So the first one comes from Fancy Pantsy. He took it out. And I don't mean this in a funny, unexpected Seinfeld kind of way, although I suppose it is that. I mean, he leaned across the table and whispered, "I'm out." I said, "Excuse me?" For some reason, my first thought was, out of the closet? He said, "Out, under the table. Look under the table." And like an idiot, I looked. Then he said, "That's what you do to me." I said, "This is what you do to me," and I left. I'm a people pleaser, so to this day, I'm proud of myself for walking away in the middle of dinner. That is like, God, this was on the first date. This is so creepy, man. Like, what is going through that guy's head? He's like, I just met this woman, and I'm going to show her my penis under the table. She's going to love that. You know what women love more than anything? Is when men unexpectedly and unwarrantedly show them your penis. That's just, everyone knows that. It's common sense. It's just, it's a rule of life, really. It's one of those things, you know what I mean? It rains, you know, the sun shines. It's just basic facts. You know, women just, first date, whip it out. Yeah. No, that's fucking disgusting. That's awful. I would have screamed. I would have been like, rape or something. Like, that's fucked. He just sexually assaulted you. That's literally sexual assault. Like that's fucked up, man. That's, oh my God. Oh, I'm being so cheeky. Oh, just my penis. Oh, just show her my penis. Oh, I'm so cheeky. I'm so weird. I'm so goofy. Oh, it's like, bro. That's, I don't know, what's your goal, bro? Like, who has ever or would ever respond to that positively? Like, what do you expect her to be like? Wow, this is really what I needed right now. I was feeling so down today, and then a guy I just met showed me his penis, and I was like, wow, I'm in such a better mood now. I really needed this. This is great. God damn, grow up. Next one comes from Awkward Ad 8740. I picked her up and she asked me if we could stop by her mom's house so she could run in and grab something. I said sure. Made the stop. She went inside. 5 minutes later, she comes out hustling towards the car with a car seat and her mom chasing after her yelling. She opens the car door and throws the car seat, which I now see has a baby in it, and starts yelling at me to drive. I freaked and just turned my car off and took the keys out of the ignition. Her mom called the cops and they came and questioned all of us for a good while. Turns out she had lost custody due to drug use and was trying to use me as a way to get her kid back. We never made it to dinner and I just went home after the cops left. Yeah, You sound disappointed. We never made it to dinner though. Yeah, she was kind of bummed out after that. You know, she got arrested, had to go to jail. You know, just we never, yeah. And then I had to go home after the cops left. Like I literally just had to go home. It was so boring. Like, oh, you know, people just they prioritize, you know, the wrong things. And it's like, what about our date though? Like, are you seriously gonna get arrested right now? Like, you don't even like want to go to dinner, or seriously, like you're gonna fucking wow. I'm disappointed. Just so you know, I'm disappointed. So you'll have to see. I don't know if I want to go out with you again. I really don't. I guess we'll have to see when you get out of jail. That's really good intuition though. Like I don't think I would have taken my keys out of the car. Like I probably would have just drove. I would have been panicking like what the fuck? Like, okay, and I just probably would have just started driving and then realized like what the fuck is going on here? I need to not be in this situation. But yeah, that's whew. That what a scheme that she's got going on. What a scheme. She's just like, yeah, let me just use my date as a way to steal a child. You know, it seems like a pretty good logical thing to do. Just depend on them freaking out. But apparently you freaked out the wrong guy. Next one comes from Tall Communications 302. He tried to change my order with the waitress because I didn't order what he'd recommended. Yeah, so I'm gonna have the lasagna. Oh my god, it sounds so good. Oh my god, he's just sitting there boiling. Excuse me. Yeah, no, she's not gonna have the lasagna. She's going to have a salad, like we discussed. Okay, a salad. Right? This is our first date, and you seriously want to eat a fucking lasagna in front of me? Okay, you're eating a salad. Okay. Like, this is non-negotiable, right? This is, how could you, you're paying for your fucking salad tonight, okay? No, she's not having the lasagna. Not at all. No. How could you, this is our first date and you're going to seriously make that impression on me? I recommended that you have the salad and you just don't? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's people these days. Unbelievable. Next one comes from Pastel Demon. He used his pocket knife to cut me a slice of cake and later scraped some dirt clumps off of his shoe with the same knife. I asked him if he ever cleaned his knife, and he replied, no. Why? And he confessed that he was madly in love with me the same day we had just met. Like, a pocket knife isn't even big enough to cut a slice of cake. He's like, you know what? My pocket knife is the perfect size to cut you a small piece of cake because we need to watch your, if we're going to be together, we need to watch your weight. So you are going to get this tiny little piece of cake. And she's like eating it and is like, oh, this is like kind of really hard and crunchy. Like, I think I might have broke my tooth. Like, what's in here? Like, is this who made this cake? I don't know. It's probably nothing. I clean my shoes sometime. Maybe it's a rock. It's probably not even, relevant. How about you just thank me for cutting a piece of cake for you? And how about you just like be grateful maybe instead of just sitting over here and being a fucking, just ungrateful person. I cut you a piece of cake. Okay, so what? There's a couple rocks in it. All right. Are you seriously going to end our relationship over that? Are you seriously going to dump me right now in front of all of these people? When I just like went out of my way to do something that I didn't have to do for you. This is classic. I'm doing acts of service. Okay. Like, what do you expect? All right. I'm literally madly in love with you and you're not appreciative of me. You're just rejecting me every chance you get. I'm literally head over heels for you. Okay. I do everything for you. I picked you up. I opened the door. I brought you here. I cut you that cake, like whatever it was 5 minutes ago. Like I do everything. I carry all the weight. Unbelievable. Yeah. I think if someone tells you they're madly in love with you the first date, that's probably a good sign that that person is fucking insane. Okay. Like who does that? Just so you know, I'm madly in love with you. Just so that you know, like there's this guy on YouTube and like sometimes like, so he'll do these like, I don't even really know what like what the genre is or what really he's trying to do, but he goes up to girls and will just say like, hey, like I think you're beautiful, blah 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 blah, hit on them, and then ask for their numbers. And then when he's saying goodbye, he'll be like, bye, I love you. And then they're like, almost every single time, the girl just has a not a positive reaction to that. They're like, oh, he's like she's like, I don't actually feel like I want him to have my number now. You just told me casually that you love me. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I want to, like, it's almost like just like 95% of the women who are on that, like who this guy like hits on, he does that. And then like, the girls' faces are almost always like, basically all the interest that they had up until that point is just completely gone. It is just a massive ick. You cannot do that. Next one comes from Ragnarok62. Met a girl at a friend's party. We were both in our mid-20s, ended up spending 3 hours talking, and she was funny, charming, gorgeous, and carefree. I asked her out and got a wonderful "I would love to" from her. I showed up about 4 days later at the restaurant she picked, with one within walking distance of her place. She arrived about 5 minutes later. Nice place, I say as I get her chair for her. Since it's so close, do you eat here often? She scowls and responds, you asked too many fucking questions. I was floored. Everything continued downhill from there. Within about 20 minutes, she just got up and left. I felt as if she had failed to tell me the other night that she had an evil twin. That's who showed up on this evening. Later, when I ran into my buddy, I asked what the heck was up, and he said, oh yeah, she's a piece of work until she gets a few drinks in her. Then she's adorable. Thanks a lot, buddy. Yeah, I think that if you depend on alcohol to, I don't know, be a normal or regular, nice, genuine person, there's a problem there. That relationship is not sustainable. Okay, that I think that there's a bit of, what we like to call alcoholism, sprinkled in there. Maybe not more sprinkled, maybe kind of just, injected. That's just, it's there. It's very much there. She needs one of those shirts that's like, don't talk to me unless I've had literally 10 beers. All right. I've literally had an entire bottle of wine. Then I become somewhat bearable. She just doesn't have it, and she's just pissed off and sweating, and she gets bad cramps, and, she just feels terrible. She gets these weird pains in her kidneys and liver. It's, yeah, but you know how that is, that's girl stuff, that's just girls being girls, how girls are, no, I don't think that that's a girl being girl. I think that's, you're addicted to alcohol. Yeah, this is definitely a great reason to not go on a second date. I think this is very justifiable. That's probably one of the worst, it's probably one of the easiest like red flags to see ever. Next one comes from Cracked in 5THs. What? He got us pulled over, car was searched, and he had a brick of coke in the trunk. I almost got arrested. He finally vouched this was a blind date, and I was innocent. Oh my God. What? A brick? I wonder, like, what were the warning signs there? I need to know. Like, was this guy just like a totally normal guy? He just like pulls up, nice car, but it's not too nice. It's just nice. It's not like a over the top crazy car, but it's also not a shitty car. This is a very average car. It's, like a mid 2010s, Honda Civic, like nice car, not like, it's not a freaking BMW or anything, but it's also not a 1992 broken down Toyota friggin', I don't know, or Pontiac something. And he's just, this is a really normal guy, dresses nice, not overly nice, not underdressed, but he's dressed nice, and he seems handsome, and he's just nice, he's really genuine. Oh my God, officer, you're not going to believe this. Oh my goodness. I have a brick of coke in the back. It passed by me. I don't know how I could have forgotten about that brick of coke. I was talking to my dealer, and it was kind of a rough situation. He had to get out of his place really fast, so it was just, he kind of threw this brick of coke on me, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do about this brick of cocaine? And I, just being the ditz that I am, I'm a little ditzy sometimes, I thought I'd be upfront with you, officer. There is about a kilo of coke in my car, and cocaine, like cocaine, like real cocaine. It's actually really good cocaine, actually. Like a really high quality stuff. So, but yeah, just thought I'd let you know, just because we're supposed to disclose things like that, just like hands on the wheel, driver's license registration. There's a brick of coke in the back of my car. Just classic stuff. Yeah. Next one comes from Richard Thickens. Went to dinner with a girl who I'd been crushing on for some time. It seemed to be going well, and we ended up back at her place, watching a movie or something. Out of nowhere, her boyfriend, of whom I was not aware, came back from out of town and stopped in unexpectedly. He and I had a super awkward conversation for a few minutes. Then the two of them disappeared into another room for a minute or two. She came back and said something to the effect of, "I don't have a place for you. I'm sorry. I just kind of got in my car and drove home." With one of the strangest feelings I've ever felt. At some point, a few minutes into the journey, I couldn't contain myself and busted out laughing. I don't have a place for you. That seems like, what is that? What does that even mean? I don't have a place for. I'm not like, what What did you think? You were helping the homeless? You're like, what did you tell your boyfriend? Yeah, I felt really bad for him, and I found him on the street. He's young, he's nice. He's not into drugs or anything, but, well, maybe. He was arrested with a kilo of coke, but it's just, he's a runner, okay? He doesn't do it. And I thought we'd help him out. Yeah, babe, I don't think I'm comfortable with that. I think I don't want him sleeping in my house, He smells weird. It's just like, I don't fucking smell weird, bro. You fucking smell weird. Yeah, what would that conversation have been about? Like, yeah, I understand how hard it can be. How hard what can be? Like your situation and everything, yeah, I get it. Sure, bro. I mean, I didn't really say much about myself, so you don't have to. You don't have to. Don't feel as though you need to spill all the beans, okay? We get it. But we're just gonna need you to just go back on the street, where you're from, where you belong. I mean, where you're comfortable. We just don't have a place for you. Yeah, that's weird. Next one comes from Pale Garlic 5523. The guy told me he would still be together with his kid's mom if she had apologized for what she did wrong. Oh my God. Out of curiosity, I asked what she did wrong. Was expecting something like she cheated. Something like that actually needed apologizing for. Nope. Apparently, she kept nagging one day and wouldn't shut up, so he tied her to a computer chair and went out for 3 hours, and he left her there. I said it doesn't sound like she was the one who needed to apologize and left. Why would you just volunteer that information? This seems so weird. It's like, yeah, so yeah, it's really complicated with me and my ex. It's not a great situation. I just really need her to apologize. She broke my heart, really. It's just, how that gets, though. There's only so much you can take, right? There's only so much you can withstand before you have to stand up for yourself. And tell her to stop nagging and tie her to a chair and, just threaten her and tell her you're going to kill her family and then, just lightly abuse her. And then it's like, that's just, really, she needs to be the one apologizing to me. Like, that's just, how could she betray me? Just nagging like that. So yeah, like, of course I did what any person would do. I tortured her for a few hours, I branded her with my family crest so that she know that she's always going to remain a piece of me. So really, she just needs to come clean. All right. She needs to fess up. All right. And stop the nagging so we can just get back together already. Ugh, don't you just hate that? It's like, well, yeah, why are you volunteering? How could you possibly have thought that in your head? I'm going to tell this person I've just met that I tied my ex to a chair for nagging. I assaulted her. Yeah. I was watching, so shout out to Cody Ko. But, so I was watching one of Cody's videos, and so he was reacting to this video. Please go watch Cody Ko on YouTube. He's so funny. If you don't know who that is or haven't heard of him, but he had this video where he's reacting to these two people who did this like first blind date, naked blind date. So as they ask more questions about each other, the like curtain moves down, they see more of each other's naked bodies. It starts from the head up, and this girl like was into this guy, and then I can't remember what she said to him, but I think she was like teasing him or something, and then he like flicked her on the forehead. It was so weird. It was so awkward, and Cody had to take a pause, and he's just like, did this guy just like assault her? And the weird thing was he left at the end. They had this thing where they put the curtain back up, and if the person is still there, then they want to go on a second date, and if they're not, then they don't. And he was gone, and she stayed. And I was like, bro, as soon as someone flicks my forehead, date over. Okay, what do you like? You cannot assault somebody. That is an aggressive move to someone you literally just fucking met. Like, what? And he full on flicked her in the forehead, and she's like, did you just flick me in the forehead? It was like, yeah, that's only a taste of what you're gonna get. You think that's bad? Wait till I tie you to a chair after I just say you keep nagging. I was like, God damn, how did this girl, why did she want to stay? Reply from De Jong. There's a Norm Macdonald bit. Oh, yeah. There's a Norm Macdonald. This is a bit between me and my friends, too, about Bill Cosby, where the comedian Patton Oswalt says, you know, the worst part about the Cosby thing was the hypocrisy. And I disagree. I think the worst part was the raping. You know, I think that most rapists are hypocrites. You know, like no rapist is really going to be like, you know, I'm not ashamed of what I'm doing and I just love doing it. You know, it's just, I know it's not politically correct, but God, it's just what I live for. You know, and then no one goes, well, you know, at least he's not a hypocrite. You know, no one, I don't think really people are worried about rapists being hypocrites. I think people are worried about rapists raping, okay? But but shout out to De Jong. That's a funny Norm Macdonald bit. Next one comes from Ruby 1977, but spelled with a V. Just in case anyone wants to hit this person up on Reddit. Told me that aliens cause jet lag and that I have the ghost of a fisherman following me around named Samuel on the top of the 20 other batshit things she said at dinner. This was last night. These are these girls who just like think they're psychic or think they're like a medium, but they're really just schizophrenic. You know, you don't hear those voices? It's literally Samuel. I can hear Samuel. He's talking about you, and he seems nice, a little violent maybe, but he's your spirit person. He's following you around. This is incredible. But yeah, anyways, back to what we were talking about. Aliens, when you're flying, you're not actually flying. They just implant those memories in your brain. What you're really doing is you get on the airplane, everyone sits down, then they inject a bunch of gas in the airplane that makes you fall asleep and have false memories of being on an airplane, but aliens are really the ones who are transporting you places, and then they give you jet lag because they're doing so many experiments on you, and that's why you're so off your circadian rhythm. But yeah, like I know I don't fly ever. I don't fly ever. I'll never fly. I'll literally never even see an airplane. If I see one in the sky, I'll literally start running away and screaming. Yeah. So, but anyways, second date. Yeah, I think I'll probably avoid that. I think you need to see a psychologist maybe or a psychiatrist. I think you might need to get something diagnosed there. Next one comes from Call Me Vicious. Guess I'll repost this here. She kept talking about the emergency dick she had stashed around the city. She was like, I've been really busy with grad school, but I don't go without. I have plenty of emergency dick around town. And when I say she kept going on, I meant she kept going on. She was telling me about the 2 guys downtown, 3 in the suburbs, 1 near campus, and 2 in her apartment complex. It honestly sounded like I was new to town, and she was giving me a rundown of all the best places to visit. Edit. She said she was looking to settle down into a relationship, whereas she had only been in situationships before. She also said she had a virgin heart. What does that even mean? What? Like, what? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with sleeping with people, okay? As long as everything is like safe, consensual, and, you know, like a positive experience. There's like, I don't think there's anything wrong, whether you're a man or a woman, with sleeping as literally as many people as you want to. Who cares? It's no one else's business. And it's not like we should, I don't even like, of course you should engage with people that you know, trust and find attractive, and like, you know, feel like there's at least some connection there. But, or even if, I don't even know, it just, I don't really want to put labels on things, but like about what people should do in their sexual lives. But like, for you to, there's nothing wrong with sleeping with people. There's literally nothing wrong with sleeping with people, as many as you want. But you should not be telling people about other people that you've slept with in like a really like any way, what, on a date, on a first date. Like, why are you telling people about this? What relevance or does this possibly have? Like, how is this contributing to the conversation whatsoever? Yeah, so I just got this great dick last night. It was just, oh, he was piping me down. You should have been there. You would have been applauding. You know, he was amazing. Just lots of dick. And then I saw another guy last night. And I actually saw another guy before this date who lives in my building. He's actually my neighbor. You know, he comes over often. So you'll see him. You know, you'll see him. It's like, listen, I don't have a problem with people sleeping as many people. Don't, like, why are you telling me this? Like, why? Like, I don't want to hear this information. This is completely irrelevant. Like, it's like, and it's like just weird. Like, why are you bragging about people that you slept with? No one cares. No one wants to hear that. Like, keep it to yourself. Like, what the fuck? Like, and not like, you like, tell your friends, but like, if you want to, but don't tell me on your first date, like, how much you enjoy sleeping with other people. It's weird, man. Like, I've had this where I'm like going out with people and like, not necessarily they'll talk about like the sex, but like they'll talk about their exes just constantly. It's like, bro, excuse me, I don't want to hear about your ex, bro. Like, I don't want to hear about it. I'm with you. Like, I'm engaging a relationship with you. I do not want to hear about your ex. Unless it's like something you need to talk about or like some sort of traumatic thing. But it's like a general rule. It's like, stop talking about your ex, bro. I'm like, why do you think I want to hear about this? Like, and like, I'm not equipped to deal with this situation. Like, if you need somebody to talk to, or if you need something to work out, you can tell me about it. But there's clearly problems here that I cannot solve, okay? And I don't really want to hear about you ranting about your ex. Like, it's just not, like, why would I want to hear that? Sorry. Chip on my shoulder, folks. This is a, what's the expression called? I don't remember. But anyways, next one comes from Azorian Milk. Very recent. Asked when I would get a real career. I love what I do. I'm a union stagehand in a major entertainment city. I've been in my industry for over 20 years. Toured the country, toured the world, make a comfortable living. Yeah, no. That's pretty demeaning, and I'm out. Pretty demeaning, you know. What you do for a living is just not valid. What you do for a living is just like pretend job. Like, do you even make any money doing what you're doing? Like, or is this just something you do for like pretending though, and like for fun? Like, it's just like a, like when you like, do you want a real job? Like, if you want a real job, I can hook you up with some of my trader friends. You know, they make real money and they do things that like actually matter, like making money. You know, and just like we just like, you know, we do things that make an impact. Like, on other people. Like we, invest in cobalt mines in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Like literally that's, we own these mines. We literally own the mines and we profit disgustingly off of them. We're making a real difference. Okay. You would not even have an iPhone if it wasn't for that. It's like, she's like, I don't even really have an iPhone. I use a flip phone. I don't really support Apple and what they do. And so you're not going to ride around in my Tesla? Come on. Tell me you don't want a Tesla. You can't tell me you don't want a Tesla. I don't want a Tesla. I actually really dislike Elon Musk. First you tell me you don't even have a real job, and now you tell me you don't want to ride in my fucking Tesla? Who are you? Okay? All right? Like, I make how much you make in a year in like, I've just made that in the last 5 seconds on crypto.com. So, whatever. This is elementary. Next one comes from Greedy Novel. One time, I took this girl to dinner and she could not stop staring at our waiter. I'll grant her one thing. I'm a guy and can admit this guy was probably totally hot for anyone who prefers men. Square-jawed and muscled college athlete type, I get it. But I didn't appreciate that she literally craned her neck every time the kitchen door swung to see if he was walking out. Eventually, I gave her enough cash to pay for my part of the meal and told her I'd noticed. Oh my God. As though I couldn't have, suggested to her that she could get his contact information when she paid the bill and left. Bro, exactly. Don't even, like, if someone was doing that, I'd be like, yeah, I'm out. Like, you clearly don't want to be on a date with me. You clearly want to ask him out after he's done his shift. Like, I'm like, why would, that is so disrespectful. Like, why the fuck, like, I can't even imagine somebody doing that. Like, I don't even know what I would say. Like, I'd be like, I'd call her out. I'd have to call her out. I'd be like, you like looking for somebody? Like, do you know them? Or like, why do you keep staring at our waiter? Like, what's going on? She's like, fuck off. I can stare at whoever I want to. All right. And I can pay for my half of the meal and also leave right now. Next one comes from Holiday Horse 3100. Nothing obvious or overt, but from the minute we sat down to eat the hair on the back of, to eat the hair on my back. Hey, we need commas and periods. This is, some people on Reddit, this is why it's hard sometimes reading off of Askreddit, because it's not structured like a lot of the other subreddits, like people's comments. Like, am I the asshole? Relationship advice, all this stuff. It's very formatted. Grammar is important. Not necessarily in these comments. It's like, we need to eat grandma. We need to eat, grandma. Nothing obvious or overt, but from the minute we sat down to eat the hair on the back of my neck, that's what it sounds like. To eat, the hair on the back of my neck stood up and I felt unsafe. He was polite, listened, very polished, but could not shake that feeling. I drove to the restaurant to meet, so he did not know where I lived. After dinner, he asked for another date, and I just said no. I don't think we're a good match. Gave him the money to pay my half, said goodbye. When I got to the door, I turned around and he was staring at me with an expression I hope to never see again. I ran to my car, moved it to another spot, and waited until he left before I left, so he could not follow. Restaurant was on an isolated road, so that was safer than having him catch up to me. Found out about a year later, he was sent to prison for the assault and rape of 2 different women. Oh my God. It happened on first dates. Never used a dating site again. See, this is again why I don't blame women for not, for ghosting dudes on dating apps. Like, it just, like, not only are women just getting hit up by so many dudes, but like, how many of those dudes are just fucking disgusting and creepy and gross? Like, bruh, this is like, you have the intuition of like a fucking eagle, dude. Like, this is just insane. Like, you're Doctor Strange over here. Like, you are sensing something is fucking strange. This doesn't feel normal, okay? This feels kind of fucked up, and I don't want to be here anymore. Oh my God, that is just, wow. That's like a sixth sense. You need to accompany women, like, you have to like pay, you have to have a service where you accompany women, but you sit at like a different table on their date, and you get something small, maybe include that in your fee. Your fee is like, you have to pay for a small meal, like an appetizer or a drink, so that you can be there, but just like watch from like a table away, see if you notice anything. And then when you go to the bathroom, like, you meet them, you text them or whatever and be like, I'm getting these vibes. How are things going? Like, This needs to be a service. You have a sixth sense here. All right, last one comes from Turnbob73. This story is always fun to tell. Basically, we got back to her place after dinner, and we were getting slightly freaky on the couch. As things started escalating, she pulls out a giant glass jar, like one of the ones with the finger loop thing that the pirates put rum in. Oh my god, what? Half full of clear liquid. My dumbass asked her if it was moonshine or vodka or something. Then she proceeds to explain to me that it's pure GHB, and that she has a fetish about getting drugged off of it before having sex. And she said that with a completely serious face. For those who don't know, GHB is a date rape drug. She then went to the restroom, and I noped out of there so fast I practically levitated off the couch. Never spoke to her again. Yeah, why don't I just do something that could get me incriminated for rape and sexual assault? Why don't I just do that? You know, that sounds totally safe, normal, and just like a great idea. Holy fuck. I'm glad I've never had any experiences like this. These sound way too intense. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of the Reddit Asks Us podcast. Again, I'm so happy to be here with you on another Tuesday, whenever you happen to be listening to this, whether that be morning, evening, and night. All of my beautiful friends from the internet. Remember, this is the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. Please leave us a rating, and also please leave us a review. Remember to share the show if you enjoy the show with the people who also may enjoy the show. And you can also reply to this week's Reddit question by clicking the description of the episode in Spotify, clicking the white icon that says reply, and you will be notified when your response is published. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace out. Love you. Bye.